Hey everyone, welcome to another Anime Kingdom review. See my title below? Yes, this is on episode 12 of Steins Gate Zero, and yes, I know this episode did not end up being the one that I thought where, the shit hits the fan. Everything did not go blowing up in our faces like I had assumed, but come on. Can you blame me considering all the signs from last week's episode on how it pretty much ended on like kind of a happy note? Like it seemed like everything was, resolved except for obviously things like, the big one on the fact on who is our prime suspect for the person that attacked them, since there was of course the possibility of it being Yuki. I don't think so, but it's still there because of the injury on her hand. And of course, the whole thing with Judy, the whole thing that I still think is a possibility that there's something going on with the professor. But obviously, this episode kind of took a different turn and it still obviously has some pretty crazy things, especially with the revelation of the very ending. And I'm pretty sure that the next couple episodes will be pretty damn crazy, considering the fact is, this ending had some organization finding out, where Kagari is, and they're probably going to try and capture her. And then, of course, obviously, the other thing is the fact that she regained her memories. And that's a big thing that can lead to, like, countless different things. For example, obviously, a confrontation with Suzuha. The last time that they actually saw each other, it was at gunpoint, pretty much. So there's a lot of things that can really happen now that she has her memory. She may, try and change things, try and stop Suzuha from changing things. Different information from what we've heard from Suzuha can come from, Kagari instead. There's a lot of different things, especially with the whole thing that I'm not too sure on what it is, but the whole point is that she went into like a crazy trance at the end when this certain music came on, which makes me think that she's under some type of, like, I don't know, mind control or something. I'm really not too sure, but it also showed sometime in the past this had happened before when this music came on, and she's just running in like pajamas or something until she's like at a train station or something like that. And then of course the huge revelation of the fact is where the whole trail that we've been leading on throughout this whole episode, which I thought was pretty interesting because it was one of those episodes where it was kind of like I said, one of my favorite things with Steins Gate Zero and how they are directing everything is it really puts you in the shoes of Okabe and makes you feel what he's feeling. Like you're feeling kind of confused at a certain thing, kind of scared, kind of sad. It's honestly really awesome to have that kind of feeling when you're watching the show, because it kind of makes you feel like you're in the show as well. And that's kind of how I felt, because you're kind of trying to figure out and solve this mystery of course, which is where did Kagari hear of this song? Obviously, the first person is Mayuri. Where did she hear it? That, of course, is from from Yuki, and from Yuki, it's to Okabe's mom. Which that part I was like completely not expecting that. I was like, his mom? Okay, that's pretty crazy. Like, did you expect that? I would never have expected that at all. And then, of course, it comes with another huge twist where it ends up being the fact that the mom heard it from him, and he has no memory, no recollection of this entire thing, him knowing the song and singing it. And of course, one of the things that he sang it for was for Mayuri when she felt bad, or when she was feeling down, of course, the whole thing with losing her grandma, obviously, that's why the whole grave scene. But even Mayuri did not remember him singing that song at all. The first time she remember hearing it is from Yuki. So that is just, honestly, it has you really just confused at every point and trying to think of a possibility of how things can, how this, trying to unwind and trying to figure out how all of this is going down. And then, of course, you have the whole thing with, Kagari and her memories coming back, the whole trance thing, like I said, and you kind of like, okay, so that just happened. The ending goes on. Love the soundtrack at this point, may I add. It fit perfectly with the scene. It definitely made you feel like, oh my gosh, like very emotional, considering Kagari got her memories back and she's just, calling, Mayuri her mom and everything because of everything we've already seen before. And then, of course, after the ending, you're thinking, okay, there's got to be something crazy that's going to happen here, right? And it is pretty damn crazy, because it ends up being the fact that, as we know, Suzuha had left, of course, Kagari in the past sometime, and she ends up growing up throughout the timeline, and she ends up pretty much encountering Okabe when he's younger, and she's I'm guessing she's like, I think she's supposed to be like 4 years older than him at this point. So I guess he could have been like 10 and maybe she's like 14 or 11, 15, something around those ages. And she sings this song and that's where he gets it, which just blows my mind, honestly, because it's like it going full circle. We're trying to figure out how Kagari knows this song, and it ends up being that she knows it because of Mayuri. Mayuri knows it because of Yuki. Yuki knows it because of Okabe's mom. Okabe's mom knows it because of Okabe. And then Okabe knows it because of Kagari. It literally just blew my mind. I was like, what the hell? That is insane. So I'm wondering if now that she got her memories back, she's gonna see Okabe and maybe connect the dots and something, comes up from that. Like I said, there's a lot of different things that can happen now that Kagari has her memories back. And I am definitely excited. Like I said, it may have not been the explosive start that I thought it was gonna be, but nonetheless, it still had a pretty crazy way of this episode. The way it was directed and everything just literally has me so excited to see how the next episode will be, because it was such a journey to get to that point. And when that happened, even though it's not like okay, it is pretty damn crazy, but it's not the most explosive way to show something. It was definitely still like just mind-blowing because I did not expect that at all. That was a huge twist that I already thought the twist of Okabe's mom hearing it from him was already just a huge twist, and obviously Yuki hearing it from his mom as well was kind of a big twist. And so it kind of just gave you twist after twist, and then you think nothing can go over that, just like Steins Gate usually does already. You think one moment this is crazy, there's nothing that can top that, and then the next moment, yeah, that topped it. And that's the same thing with how I felt at the ending of this episode, and I honestly cannot wait to see how next week's episode will be. There were still some other parts in this episode that was kind of random and weird. I'm guessing that's just how it was in like in the novel and everything. They always like to throw those in sometimes, obviously being the fact that Suzuha is saying she's going to a battle and ends up being like a curry eating contest. Normally you'd be like, why is that even in there? Why the hell would they put that? But that's probably because it's from the visual novel and everything. And I honestly understand that sometimes they like to do that for the fans. I've seen that in other visual novel adaptations as well, and other like just novel and manga kind of as well. Not necessary, they're not really necessary sometimes, but it's cool just to throw in some fan service for those, the people who have read the source material and everything. So that is cool to see that part in. It was kind of funny and random, but still, nonetheless, it was like, that was interesting considering you always see Suzuha always so serious all the time. And then you're seeing she's going to a battle and you think, holy shit, is she going to attack someone? What's happening? And then it's just curry. So it's like, okay. And then, of course, the whole Daru and Yuki thing was also super interesting to see that they are indeed dating. Obviously, we know that's going to happen because of the whole point of Suzuha. But it was funny seeing Mayuri just kind of like poking fun at him and everything and her and just like, oh my gosh, are they dating kind of thing. It really felt kind of weird in that, situation with how the story was going, the episode was going. But I definitely loved those parts in it as well. Overall, I would definitely say that this episode was definitely very interesting. I loved, like I said, the way it was directed, and to get to that point of the ending, it's just got me so interested in wondering what's going to happen in next week's episode now that all of this is out, now that Kagari's memory is here, and now that it looks like this organization who is chasing Kagari is going to make their move. So it should definitely be interesting on that point. I'm still wondering the whole thing about everyone else, like the professor, then what's going on there now that they're in America. Is Okabe ever going to go to America? Is that something that's going to happen, or are they going to come back to Japan? I have no idea, but I'm definitely excited to see how these next couple episodes will go. Slow or fast, whatever, when the shit hits the fan, it will hit the fan, because we know it's going to happen sooner or later. And being like this where you're kind of like expecting it to happen and then it doesn't, that's when you let your guard down. So I would not be surprised if it ends up coming up in the next one and I'm like, holy crap, did not expect that to happen, so we'll just have to wait to see how next week's episode will go. But yeah, that's all I gotta say, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this Anime Kingdom review. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below. If there's anything missing you want to talk about, comment below as well. And if you did enjoy, don't forget to leave a like. If you haven't already, feel free to subscribe for more content. As always, guys, I want to hear your guys' thoughts. Anime Watchers Only, how do you feel about this episode? Was it awesome? Did you like it? Did you like the way it was directed? How it pretty much put us directly in the shoes? And did you expect any of these things to happen? Feel free to comment below, good, bad, whatever you guys want to talk about. It's always awesome to hear your guys' thoughts. And as always, people who have read the source material, who have read the visual novel and everything, how was this episode? Is there anything that was anime original kind of things? I'm always interested in interested in that, since there has been like several things already that's been only in the anime and not in the visual novel, which have been pretty interesting to see. But how was this in terms of the visual novel? Are we getting back on course with it being most of it connected, faithful to the visual novel, or were there changes? Obviously, don't put any spoilers. If it is something that is related to a spoiler, do the whole skip 4 line thing, so you have to click read more. So if someone clicks, that's their choice to be spoiled. I don't want to be spoiled, and I'm pretty sure a lot of anime watchers only also do not want to be spoiled. So yeah, until next week, where we figure out, will the shit hit the fan, or will we get another slowly rise to the point where we all know things are going to go down. So yeah, that's all I gotta say, guys. So till next time, see ya.